10 o'clock in the morning. This is 54th
This
episode.
meeting is being recorded.
This 54th episode of Tech Forum is going to take place today, and it is going to be a success story of ventilator development, ICU ventilator. Tech Forum is a group of like-minded people support each other. They are from industry, academia, and various other areas too. Today's subject is development of ICU ventilator. Engineers from Kerala Engineering College classmates during the pandemic realized that there is acute shortage of ventilators in the country, and unfortunately there is not a single manufacturer. They decided passionately to develop a indigenous ICU ventilator. They are all from industry, different industry. Some of have their own industry, and most of the members are Bangalore based today. And they took off the project. Ashim Purohit, a ventilator expert from medical electronics field, joined them, and passionately they developed. The ventilator is developed and right now in the validation process, and we are going to hear the whole process through interview of Mr. K. Ravi of Keen. Ashim will conduct the interview. Initially, both of them will introduce and they can add for each other, but they can introduce themselves, their field, their background. So most of the viewers and listeners will understand how they are qualified to develop the ventilator, and what was their journey, what are the difficulties they face. All these things will be discussed today in an interview. We will be also having an interactive session for question and answers. So request all the members to switch off the videos, and only Ravi and Ashim will have their videos on. So without spending much time, I will request Ashim to start the dialogue with Ravi. Over to Ashim.
Good morning. Thank you, Vilas ji. If you allow me to call you Vilas Kaka, we have a very long association since I was a kid. You have been an inspiration for me in the field of electronics. I still remember you sending me a box full of transistors, capacitors, and all those things to my hostel, where it really inspired me in my career in electronics. So I would like to start with a small thank you, Vilas Kaka. You've always been and continue to be a great inspiration to all of us. And especially, I've been watching you since the last 1 year. After Dad passed away, I spoke to you and we connected. And I've been seeing the kind of activities you are into, keeping this ecosystem fired up with your inspiring work. So thank you very much for doing that. And today inviting Ravi and myself on this forum. Good morning to everyone. Let me start with a short introduction of myself, which is relevant to the current topic. So I started my career in 1989. I worked with Siemens Medical as a service engineer. I had studied my engineering out of Solapur, not far away from where Tech Forum, most of you are located. Yeah. And so in 89, I started with Siemens as a service engineer, and I fulfilled various roles up to about 2003, and one of the biggest role that I played there was to develop the critical care market for Siemens Medical. So I was associated with the Siemens servo ventilator business in Siemens right up to 2003. In 2003, this business got sold off to a European multinational called Getinge Group. They had a brand called Maquet, M-A-Q-U-E-T. So I got the opportunity to start as a young 34, 35-year-old person. I got the opportunity to start their business in India. So this company had acquired this product line from Siemens and started this organization in India, as well as internationally they were present. So from 2003 to 2016, I was involved with this company. We grew quite significantly. Eventually, in 2016, I parted ways and started my own consulting practice. So today, I do a variety of assignments ranging from leadership mentoring, market guidance, typically what you guys in Pune call as go-to markets, and all kinds of organizational interventions is what I'm involved in. So I have behind me about 33, 34 years of medical device experience, 3 decades plus. And now the interesting part about today's story is, in 2019, late 19 to 20 and early 2020, we had this pandemic starting. Around this time, I came across Keen through one Mr. Sudhakaran, who's part of the Keen team. He runs a company called Sanpar out of Bangalore. I'm sure some of you have heard of them. So he approached me through the common network of people, the old boys network, saying that Keen was very keen to develop a ventilator in this hour of need. They had this idea of getting into medical device space for a long time, but I think the pandemic pushed the scale towards selection of the product as a ventilator. So he wanted to see if I could help them in any way, basis my experience of the ventilator market space. So this is how I got associated with Keen and got to know Ravi, Fenwick, and the entire team, Purnima and all. Amazing people. And you can imagine, the situation where there were lockdowns all over and ventilators were in short supply. And all of us who were associated with medical devices were much in demand. Everybody was asking us, how can you help us, give us guidance? And, I still remember all the three biggest automobile companies, even they wanted to build their own ventilators. Yeah. So, so this is how I got into this thing with Keen. And, one thing, just kind of a reflection on 3 decades is, one thing I've learned through experience is that delivering products and solutions like these is not just about being technically sound, and having right designs and technical capabilities. It's also a lot about strong multidisciplinary teamwork, because very often medical devices involve various technologies. Very rarely will a medical device only be a VLSI technology or only be mechanical engineering. It's a coming together of a variety of specialties. And what really matters is if you have good teamwork, and this teamwork is needed over an extended period of time. Yeah, very challenging, dynamic circumstances you go through. So this teamwork has to, be alive. And it's I use this sentence very often. I say, it's a long and winding circuitous route to the medical device market space, because the time between the idea and fruition of the device can be anywhere between 3 to 6 years. So you have to stay strong, and you have to deliver as a team consistently despite all odds. And this is where the Keen team really inspires me, especially Ravi, Fenwick, Purnima, and all these guys. You'll get the names from Ravi about all the team members, that they have exceptional team play, among multiple disciplines, and it is focused on delivery. Yeah, I've had several conversations with them. I never ever got a feeling that there were three teams or two different people. They're always together. There is a project lead, and there is very good harmonization and carrying forward of the ball towards the goalpost. So, as we meet here today, their product will be soon going out for clinical testing. Ravi will tell us whatever he can at this stage about the project. And I'm sure we still have miles to go, and my good wishes with the Keen team, and I promise them all the support in whatever capacities I can to take this product to the marketplace. So with that longish speech, I'm going to welcome Ravi to introduce himself and take this session forward. Over to you, Ravi.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ashim. Long introduction, so saves me a lot of presentation work when we go forward. Good morning, everybody. Of course, Mr. Vilas Rabde, though I don't know him personally, I just got his name or little introduction through Ashim 3-4 weeks ago. I understand he is inspiring. So one of the big topics on a Sunday morning, though I shall tell you about Keen, whatever we have done, not done, done well, not done well, Ashim was telling me essentially should be to inspire. So to that extent, I don't know whether I will be able to do justification on a Sunday morning. Anyway, I shall try what is possible to inspire. Inspire is always a difficult job. Anyway, quickly to step back on this, how we came together. Slightly different from what Mr. Vilas Abde possibly has introduction about us and Ashim also. You can see here it is KEEN is KEEN. The first KEA stands for actually, we are all from Kerala, based in Bangalore, Kerala Engineers Association. Those days, because most of us are 40 plus, 40 plus, 50 plus, etc. In this group right now. So there were essentially only 5 engineering colleges in Kerala those days, because now you have many. And so each of us had an alumni association in Bangalore. And then we also, the 5 colleges together came and formed an umbrella group called the KEA. This possibly is around 30 years ago. So through that KEA, we had the advantage of knowing each other reasonably well. Today, I think there are more than 3,000 or 5,000 alumni from Kerala. Those days, it was mostly in the few hundreds, 300, 200, etc. And then, of course, we used to have standard cultural activities was the only thing last 30 years. But sometime down the line in 2018, 19, this idea did come up when we got to know each other more and more. There are entrepreneurs in all these colleges in small numbers. Why not we come together and find out if we can be of use to each other, use to society, etc. That is how the KEAs, entrepreneurs, and then it was slightly modified to experts also. So we are right now, we have around 30 people with us in KEEN from all these 5 colleges, essentially 5 colleges, 1 or 2 from the new generation colleges also, but mostly from the originally 30 colleges. So we have around, 5 colleges. So we have around 30 people with us, and the experts, because there were quite a few people who are interested, not running organizations, but experts in their own field. For example, we have a couple of people from the academic area, from Institute of Science. We have a professor with us. Then 1 or 2 experts who are working in organizations like HAL design, HAL's aerodynamics, but who are just retired, not retired, or maybe towards the end of their career, who have got good expertise, can be valuable. So this was formed as a group of entrepreneurs, essentially. So out of the 30, I think around 23, 24 are entrepreneurs, 6 or 7 are coming under the experts classification. So that's around about KEEN. And this formed in end of 2018-19, which is approximately 5 years ago. So then I'll quickly go through as we go forward. So this is the history of first KEA 30 years, and then KEEN 5 years ago. And then we go forward. We have formed the next offer. So KEA, KEEN, and then a private limited company. So this has been the growth so far. So with that, I'll go forward. And just to add, if any of you want to ask me anything at any time, please do that. There is nothing like it has to be later. So you can always ask me anytime, anything you want to ask me. One second, please. Yeah, so these were the objectives set for KEEN when we formed networking. If you want me to read quickly, I shall. So networking was one of to enhance business. So the organization was not philanthropic. The objectives was not that. Get together, social causes, yes, but essentially to, if possible, enhance business interest, a lot of sharing of practices, whether group initiatives are possible, which the ventilator has been one of them. And then we have these experts in the groups, use their strengths, support each other, and then go back to colleges in whatever form, collaborate for bigger opportunities. These were some of the objectives that were set as for the KEEN. From the membership point of view, just the names are etc. are not very important. So you can see there are somebody from the Professor of Institute of Science, there is somebody who has been from an Air Force leading the Air Force, and then we have all these entrepreneurs from various backgrounds running companies for 20, 30. There are somebody who is also running almost 40 years. So in various areas, from mechanical engineering, precision engineering, design, hydraulics, IoT, electronics. So the entire, including there's somebody who's running a real estate firm actually in our group. There's only one company from civil engineering on the real estate background. So this has been a very heterogeneous group, which has a lot of advantages, what I found personally from a heterogeneous group like this. because I'm also part of another cluster here in Bangalore. This was formed around 20 years back. This cluster was formed only 5 years back. That's called a Bangalore Machine Tool Manufacturers Network. That was a UNIDO initiative, and way back started in 2004 or 5, which almost 20 years back. But there the advantage, we have an advantage, everybody is in machine tools. So understand each other very well. But the disadvantage was very, very homogeneous. Thinking was the same. Nothing like out of the box thinking. Exposure to new technologies limited to machine tools, etc. Whereas this group here, being very, very heterogeneous from diverse fields, had tremendous advantages. So this is the ventilator was because of this range of expertise that we had. And generally keen when we say we meet twice a month. At 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning. So we generally believe, I mean, the initial leadership, I was also part of the initial 2-3 office bearers. Of course, office bearers are namesake. But then earlier, my experience, personal experience, anything in the morning works well. Evenings don't work for 2 reasons. The attendance is very poor, always in the evenings, because people may get caught up in various kind of unplanned things. So we start at 8 o'clock in the morning. It was a big challenge initially. People had to leave home at 7 o'clock in the morning and come at 8 o'clock in the morning for a meeting. All meetings were physical till the COVID came in. So 2 years we had physical meetings, and the membership also grew. We started with around 16 people and then reached 30. But generally we've been having 80-90% attendance on all the meetings, 8 o'clock. So we generally is 8 to 10. Second and fourth Saturday is fixed. After the COVID, when it came, it moved to a virtual mode, and now it's come in between, sometimes virtual, sometimes physical. But the meetings we had one yesterday. So generally second and fourth Saturday. There are very clear agendas given in beginning, and then it's only for members with small guidelines kept. They have to be an engineer. Of course, could be diluted in the future, I do not know. But right now, you have to be engineers. You have to be from some Kerala engineering college, and some small rules are kept there. Recently, we got ourselves registered as a society. The first 3 years, it was just a very informal organization, but reasonably well run. And this of course, I'm not part of BNI. There's an organization called BNI. Maybe many of you are aware. They had this. So this one was possibly copied from them, because we had few members who were also attending BNI, referrals and ask. So generally in a meeting, we would have one company would give present in initial meetings, just to understand each other very well in depth. We would give out of 2 hours meeting, 1 hour on each person coming up with a presentation about his company in detail, in technology wise, everything. So we understand each other. And then later on, we also moved into, once that initial rounds were over, referrals and asks whether you can, somebody has a need to connect to some organization, technology, people. It could be even running the organizations. We would want to know salary structures that are going on. So these kind of referrals and asks are generally done in a typical meeting. Introduction, introducing to people, etc. Of course, already I told you earlier, more has been knowledge sharing whenever we meet regularly. For example, in a meeting, I think 3-4 weeks ago, it was more on how the business was last year. How does it look for various segments? Because we have people from various organizations, various backgrounds. So how the business looking at, what are the new challenges coming up? Because human resource is becoming a challenge everywhere, very, very regularly. How people are mitigating it or overcoming these kind of things. Inter-unit business has been reasonably good. We had 12 to 15 meaningful collaborations the last 3 years between members for going to a particular customer, getting a particular business to share, get their technologies together and then present. We find these days public sectors and bigger organizations are more, one would say, accepting these kind of small coming together of organizations. One company would take a lead, of course, for tendering, things like that, but they are accepting big companies coming together, which was very difficult earlier. So we had around 12 to 15 meaningful collaboration between 2 or 3 companies at best to get certain businesses. So these have been, and then we also bring out a monthly newsletter. The highlights every month is brought in more in electronic form, circulated to a small circle of friends and business associates. These are just some photographs of the meetings that we have. So twice a month, and of course once in average of 4 months, it's a dinner meet over some cocktail and things like that, just to loosen up, to get the friendship in place, which has been very key. So when we go down, I will tell you the friendship has been very key in the ventilator development. So this is about Keen so far. So first the association of alumni and then formation of Keen for 3-4 years. And then we now come to the next step in our journey, which was formation of a private limited company. Now, how this happened, though Keen is 5 years old, around after 2 years of existence, always this discussion used to happen in the group. Being from very, very diverse fields, how can we come together to do something that is bring out a product, bring out technology, mostly around which is not available in the country easily today, because we have, as I mentioned, precision engineering, hydraulics, pneumatics, electronics, software, almost you name it, for almost any kind of normal products. The expertise was there very much in Keen. Everybody had their own organizations, 23, 24 companies were there, and we had few experts. And then each of us in our 30 years of 40 years of journey have a huge amount of network and places from where we can go and get much more information wherever required. So the discussion was always there, how do we bring out something? And then it's actually not COVID. Around 6 months before COVID, we got a small study done on the dialysis machine. I mean, medical electronics was looked as one possible area. There were a few other products also discussed, not only medical electronics. So it was not that we were focusing on medical electronics at that particular point in time. But just can we do something together using our expertise, use for a collective good, okay, should make business sense, was very, very clear, but also should be ideally something that is not available in the country. It can be anything. So finally, we zeroed in on medical electronics, did a lot of study. That is when we got in touch with Ashim a little bit. Some reasonable number study was done on a dialysis machine, and then we're talking about ventilator, etc. in the month of February, I remember very much, and we were telling, let us now move forward. We've been talking for too long. It's time to really start something. And then, of course, on 22nd, 23rd of March 2020, the Prime Minister comes and shuts the country down. So actually, when the country shut down, the next day we woke up. So from the next day, I would say the first 50 days of or 40 days of lockdown till around May 10th, I cannot remember the last 25, 30 years working so hard. So those 40 days, each of us were working so hard, of course, sitting in our own houses. We knew nothing about medical electronics, almost nothing about the ventilator. But the decision was made, okay, now let's go with the ventilator. We've been talking for too long. This looks to be a need. We never knew it will take 3.5 years. We're still in the ethics committee stage because we were seeing news, somebody coming out in 5 days, 10 days, 20 days. But of course, we did not assume 20 days. But after a month, we thought it could be a year and a half. I mean, we thought year and a half, maybe we can come out something. But now we understand it is not so. So that is how we hit upon the ventilator. The urge to do something together was actually the primary mover in this particular case. And then talking medical electronics, shutdown of the country, COVID hitting, together possibly took us to the, or we were destined to reach the ventilator. So this is what I would say on reaching the ventilator. And now on the ventilator, going for, I mean, in March, April, May, we asked, everybody is at home. We could not meet anybody. I mean, for 6 months, we not met each other at all, except for some calls. So then we had 30 people. How to the company has been formed. Some discussions had taken place earlier, how a company can be formed. There could be different product lines that we may take up slowly as we move forward. The medical electronics is one. There were a couple of other lines also that were discussed in detail. How do we structure it? Some discussions that happened, nothing formalized. Discussions that happened. And then, as I told you, the COVID came in, and then we started on the ventilator. Journey is already on, and things were moving. 30 of us sitting in different places. No teams or nothing in place, but decision was taken that we move forward. And then I don't remember exactly the dates or the sequence, but then sometime possibly end of April, we used to have everyday calls on the ventilator, except for the spelling, nothing much more known at that particular point in time. But 20 days, a lot of search, a lot of Googling, we were much better off at least understanding the product. There are different kinds of ventilators, who are the players in India, some basic information is available. So we found out then, okay, 30 people cannot do this. So how do we start strategizing to reach an outcome? So slowly in the next 6 months, I would say, not month on month, difficult to really put dates to it. But slowly as we move forward, we discussed and decided that first stage, of course, was a design team. Now, how do we form a design team? Of course, a lot of internal discussions in groups of 2 and 3, etc., and finding out who in the 30 would be the best people to do. So slowly we formed, and then we asked for people who are interested to be part of the design team. We had 10 of them out of the 30 saying that I would be willing to participate. I would be happy to participate. So we formed a group of 10, which is still alive even today. We have a 10 people group. Say they will lead the design. Of course, all the 10 are not very active in the design because 10 are cannot really contribute. But nevertheless, that was the first step. So we got 10 people. We said there should be in charge because all of us are equals. That was a challenge. All of us are equals as far as the key membership was concerned or perception is concerned. So then we said that it has to be finally a professional organization to really achieve something like this. So our goal all the time was to see that how this informal group can be formalized and how this can be put in place like a formal organization, like any organization for that matter. So slowly we said, let's try to put somebody as in charge of the design. So we had this professor from Institute of Science. We said, because he's a friend of mine, so I don't mind saying I knew he was not the best person, honestly. But then we said, but it has to be accepted, and we are not sitting across table those days. So we told Dr. Satish Kailas to head the design. He said, okay, but he did express that he may not be the best person to do from a knowledge point of view because he is in the area of tribology and mechanical engineering. Anyway, so he took the place. We formed a 10-member team. The 10 became 5, and then he was leading. But after 3-4 months, he was also clear. So we had to move in out, and then we have one lady in this 30 group. Only one lady in the entire 30 group. Also my age. I mean, I passed out in 1986, complete engineering, so touching 60 soon. So she is also my age. So she worked in Texas Instruments for a very long time. So she moved in as the lead designer for the group. So this is all accepted as we went forward. It was accepted by the group. Yes, she shall be the lead. So we are getting into a professional mode. There were a couple of people who are senior to her. At least there are 2-3 people by age, 2-3 years senior to her, but decided to be or accepted to be part of her team because she has to, when you take decisions many a time, like any organization. So they said, okay, no problem. She can be our lead. So this was formed, and the design group started moving, and this is how the journey then started. But then one point I would want to add at this stage, we did not have very, very clear plans laid out for next 1, 2, 3 years. But my feeling is if we had laid out those very, very clear plans, we would not have started. This is my personal view, because when you think what will happen, who will invest, how will get the returns, if you think too much on all these kind of in an organization or in a group like this, I'm sure we will not have answers to most of them at that particular time. Even today, we don't have answers to many of them, but then we are moving forward. So that benefit we had because of the K is Kerala, because all of us were from the same state in outside place. Like, for example, you are a group in US or Nigeria, Indians will form an association there very easily. So you are slightly outsiders, though we are not big outsiders in Bangalore, but then we are little outsiders. So you have that small fraternity feeling. 5 colleges, we already knew each other for a long time. So that helped in transparency and collectively even pushing people a little bit there and here to accept. So out of the 30, only 23 people came forward to be part of it is not compulsory to everybody. We said we would like to have everybody. 23 came. Now we're talking to others. If you want to join even today, you can. This is how the team was formed. The product was formalized, and we started forming. Now because wherever you want me to go into depth of the ventilator, you can tell me. Otherwise, I'll only give an overview right now. This is the final product, almost ready now. We have made 3 of them. 3 products. So there are a lot of in-between stages in this 3-year journey. It's now actually 36 months since we started. We've reached on 42 months now. Another 2-3 months, we'll be completing 4 years. We thought 1.5 years we will hit the product to the market, but 4 years down the line, I think we are still another 6 months. That's the belief. So this is the final product. What we have now, we have made 3 of them. We are now in a very, very advanced stage. I think should go to the hospital trials, actual hospital trials by early June, in 2 weeks time from today. This is the product. Little bit of the product I shall explain as we go forward. A small director board, of course, had to be formed. When you have a private limited company, we just put 4 names, 5 names. People said, okay, no problem. Anybody can put their names. Nobody was particular. I should be a director. Okay, everybody is unpaid. So it's only completely selfless work at this point in time. But we have employees. KTIPL has employed a few people as we came down the line. Now we have, I think, 4 employees. But otherwise, this 23 entrepreneurs having their own companies are the real backbone. For example, my company, sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. My company, along with Mr. Fenwick, 2 of us, we started 30 years back. We are into manufacturing, product manufacturing. So we have a reasonably big setup of a battery of CNC machines, any kind of machine that you want, good design team in mechanical engineering, pneumatics, hydraulics, little bit of electrical electronics. So the entire facility is made available to Keen for anything. So the entire structure, what you saw earlier, the whole mechanical engineering, pneumatics, everything is designed by us, made by us for Keen at zero cost. Similarly, there's a company called CT Control, who has been in the area of electronics. So they have developed all the boards. I shall tell you, we have developed a lot of electronic boards, PCBs, design, everything done. In some areas, some cost has been given, but otherwise many of them done with almost zero cost. So it's like something like 20 companies putting their effort together. This is a team, expertise across what we had. And then, of course, as we move forward, we knew, because we did not have any medical electronics or any doctors, nobody in this group. But then using the strength that we had, we went, got pulmonologists, intensive surgeons, clinicians, through each of us, to our own groups. And then we got many of them into our discussions as we went forward. So the first 2 years, many of them have been part of us for long periods of time. We must have met at least 15, 20 doctors, gone to around 15 or 20 hospitals across Bangalore. Like Ashim has put us on to many people. You had C-Camp. We went through quite a few of these funding rounds, did not get any fund anywhere because ventilator somehow was not classified as a very big need in many of those areas for the new funds. But then the funding has been bootstrapped by us, money put in by us. So this is the journey that we went through. All these are that we have purchased. It has been done very professionally, as I told you. So we have not cut no corners anywhere. We have purchased the best of test equipments. We have lung testing machines costing 20-25 lakhs. We have imported, bought them. All these things have been made available like anybody could do. So everything is in place. We got a market study done by a very formal organ, paying them some money. They got a market study for ventilators done for us a year and a half back. I'm just touching on all these just to say that, like a professional organization, we have done all this. And then as you mentioned, I think 6 months or 1 year down the line, we thought there should be now a design lead. We require a project leader. So one of the senior most person in the group, Mr. Kumaran, was requested to be the project leader. So he then became the project leader for the whole thing. So we had a project leader. We had a design team, regular meetings, so that it became slowly like an organization. And around a year back, we formed a marketing team now. And the marketing team's work more than sales today is to ensure we reach the hospital for trials. So we have to reach out to various hospitals, understand the formalities, because we did not know formalities, how to go forward. Not that we know everything right today, but we've been learning. Then we had the CDSA registrations with government, ethics committee. We've been going through ethics committee for last 5 months, the journey through ethics committee, requirements of the ethics committee, clinical trial agreements, a host of documents, all being learned right now. But then in this case, I use my office, my staff for doing a lot of work for me, similarly with everybody else. So this collective strength of ours, so that's what I want just trying to repeat again, collective strength. Because if you really ask me, none of the companies in the group would be able to make anything like a ventilator on its own. None of them. Unless we had come together, at least 5, 6 of them had not come together, we would not been able to make the ventilator. To date, we have invested around money-wise, physically around 1.8 crores. So we had no idea how much we'll have to spend. So we told the members, maybe we start with 2 lakhs, 23 into 246 to start. And after a year, nowhere, we said maybe another 1 or 2 lakhs. Got them on board, again pushed them, became 4. Now it's around between 6 and 8 lakhs. Most everybody's at 6, some of them at 8. Now we think we may have touched 10 to really reach somewhere. And all the efforts of people like Purnima, me, everybody, the amount of time spent, nothing has been paid, or we don't expect anything right now. Because
Ravi, can I just interrupt you here?
Please.
Yeah, just to give you a quick break to have a glass of water and to say what I wanted to. I think it's very clear that you had to bootstrap yourself, through individual contributions and so on. And I think I had mentioned this to your group when I was in Bangalore in October 21, I think, is that You mentioned 1.8 so far invested into the project. If
Yeah,
I was
approximately,
to,
yes.
if with a little bit of experience working with design organizations, contract design organizations, like, for example, Tata Elxsi, these people, to develop a product to the point that you have created would have charged you something like 7 CR. Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
so you already done in terms of value creation, your investment is already 4x. Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes.
on top of it, you are delivering the evidence in advance, in the sense if someone wants to see what is being delivered, that's what you have with you. So I think it's a great achievement, and I want to give you a clap on that. Please continue.
Yeah, okay. I mean, very close to whatever I've told you. So I'm just trying to put up here that we have addressed all the needs as to the best of our abilities, like a professional organization, in spite of being a very reasonably diverse, loose group. We've been able to come together, form something very clearly, have small departments in place, accepted by everybody, so we're able to have a good outcome. And then in an area that we had almost zero experience, except when you say pneumatics, electronics, mechanical engineering, in parts, many organizations had the strength. Um, Challenges, of course, I don't know real. Honestly, Ashim was asking me what were the three big challenges. If you ask me, the group has been so good. Maybe the leadership also was to given some credit. We really did not have big challenges so far in this journey so far. To raise his money, of course, little bit of push there, here, yes. But honestly speaking, no big challenges, because I think everybody had reasonably aligned themselves to our thought process in the beginning, when this whole thought of a new product together. And then we said, for anything to do, each of you should look at 5 or 10 lakhs and expect nothing in return. 5-10 lakhs you put into this, you may lose the entire thing. I mean, you should be ready for that. And then when you are running a company for something 25-30 years, if you cannot put 5-10 lakhs together, so 10 lakhs you put in, believe the group. Complete transparency has been maintained throughout, which has everybody knows that. For example, many of us are working day and night on this, whereas they are not working on this, and we don't expect them to work. So the expectation setting within the group dynamic has been very good. Now, key right now, 3-4 of us have been working day in, day out to get to the hospital trial stage, because going on for 4-5 months now. Whereas the design team has been working very hard for around 1.5-2 years. And there has been a small group trying to do the fundraising. And a big group of the 23, maybe 13-14, except attending. We have regular meetings once in 3 months, like any private limited company, update them very clearly. They're not doing anything at all. So they don't expect to do anything. We don't expect them to do anything. They expect us to take decisions. Transparency. I think this has been, so once this dynamic was reasonably established, challenges have been less. Challenges, of course, from knowledge point of view, yes. From being a new area, hospital ethics committee, because we were to hit the hospital trials by beginning of January. Even the doctor was on board, everything set, and then the new set of procedures came in place. Those kind of challenges, yes. Fundraising is becoming, because now we started at maybe 3 to 5 lakhs. We are already touching 8 and 10 lakhs. So fundraising is becoming a little bit of a challenge, and seeing that how we can raise another crore. We think another crore will be required to really see us through till next April, May is the time that we think, if things go well, maybe we may be closer to hit the market. So we want to make another 4 or 5 units in the next 3-4 months, have 2 of them start running for hospital trials from June. Okay, then we have to keep our minimum cost. We have some employees and things like that. And some we have taken a place also. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Slowly we took a place, a not very big place, but 2,500 square feet of place has been taken by Keen Technology as their own place, hired right now. So you'll have to slightly equip that. At least 1 crore rupees plus is required now for next. So you cannot go to some bank with 25-30 people and say, I want 1 crore. Will not happen straight away, because we don't have collaterals, and then who will give collateral, things like that. Has to be raised internally in all probability. So these kind of challenges are there. We don't have answers to all the questions on what will this, how will we take this to the market. We believe we will make them do this. Maybe some technology transfer also may be thought of as we go forward, but only after we well establish the product. A task is 15, target 15-20 should be working in hospitals. Once we reach 15-20 in hospitals, run well, then we will look at whether monetizing through further expansions on our own, or whether it should be with some joint venture with somebody. Because after we've done the hard work with a big group, we also understand a big group, 10 years, 15 years running together may not be easy. So we have these options. Small rules have been set within the a group of 23 on exiting and transferring shares. Some informal kind of rules have been raised, but many of them are done as we face them. So quickly, last couple of slides. This was the parts of this the ventilator. So we have taken a lot of. It is not like any other ventilator, like what Rabde Saab told at the beginning. This ventilator, as we believe, has been really designed and made like any of the GE or Philips or any of those ones. Because the photographs on the left, what you see, those are the pneumatic blocks. They have all been what is called as a manifold design. So no external piping. The reliability is very, very high. All the elements right now, unfortunately, have to be imported. All the proportional wall sensors, nothing made in the country. And on the right side, you have the PCBs. So we have dedicated, designed and developed around 6 PCBs. So all this has been made well, tooling done, everything done. So we really want to scale up or transfer technology, somebody can be done very, very easily. And this is something called a backplane design for the PCBs who are conversant electronic. We have 6 PCBs on the photograph on the left side. The 6 are in racks. So something goes down in a hospital. We don't go and start repairing there. Just pull the PCB out, put a new one. The machine is again running. So all these have been done. There's only one valve which has to be made by us. We are yet to make an exhalation valve. We have made part of it. That is being developed by us completely. Otherwise, most of the proportional valves will be continue to be bought. I think I'm done. Now, all up to you.
Yeah, thank you, Ravi. That was an amazing narrative. And I just want to make a small comment before I hand over the microphone to Vilas Kaka, is that, I mentioned earlier that it's a long and winding road when it comes to delivering medical devices to the marketplace. And very often I've seen, even today, people underestimate the time it will take you to introduce a product to the marketplace, for a very simple reason that the nature of it application warrants that it should go through certain milestones along the way. It's not without reason that the regulatory space is what it is. But the flaw is very often that people do not factor that into their project planning. And it has implications on, various aspects of the project, including, of course, funding, the funds required, as well as consistent leadership throughout the project over an extended period of time. I remember, however, that you guys, so my first interaction with you through Mr. Sudhakaran was 13th of April, 2020. Yesterday, I was checking the WhatsApp messages. I said, let me just check when it started. And you actually showed me the ready first prototype on October 2021. So that was like within 18 months, your product was ready in almost professional form. Only the last display was about to arrive, if I remember right. And so that was a remarkable achievement. For the benefit of all, I was mentioning something to Vilas Kaka in the morning. I would like to share with you that this journey, of taking a product to the market has 3 parts. So the actual technical solution developments, cracking the problem statement and coming up with a solution is only 1/3 of the total journey. Yeah, in terms of the cost, in terms of the time it takes, the pains involved, effort required, and so on. The second 1/3 part is about making sure it is clearing all the certifications and regulatory aspects and so on. Yeah, so for generally electrotechnical devices applied for medical purposes are governed by IEC 60601 chapters. I don't want to go into it because it's not my specialty, but it requires very thorough testing before you even present it for a regulatory. Yeah, from safety and performance point of view. So that takes 1/3 of the total project time. And then Ravi, and this is where you should strap yourself up for, is the journey to the marketplace is the last 1/3. Yeah, and because if there are predicate devices already in the marketplace being used, then customers are used to certain brands, certain types of user interfaces, and so on. And if you're going to come up with something new, you need to, kind of make sure not to step on people's toes, but make a very definite positioning statement vis-a-vis the other players in the marketplace. If you are coming up with a completely new solution, like, let's say a bottle of immortality medicine, even to go out into the market's place with a bottle filled with immortality pills, let me tell you, it will take marketing. Because people are not used to path-breaking solutions. They never imagined that you could have something. So no matter whether it's an established product line or whether it's a completely new solution that you're taking to the marketplace, you can, or you need to kind of factor a significant amount of time and resource for taking it to marketplace. I mean, we've seen it all around, especially in the last 2-3 years, why some companies have failed, though despite having very good technical solutions and so on. So I just wanted to comment about this thing about the long and winding road to marketplace related to medical devices. With this comment from my side, I'm going to pass on the microphone to Vilas Kaka.
Hello.
Thank you, Ravi and Ashim. Lovely presentation, and we really look forward for your finished product in the market after your clinical trials. Yes, definitely, it is a proud moment for us and pride for India also, that this could be the first indigenous ventilator which will come in the market. I don't know whether anyone has put up so far. We will throw open the platform for question and answer sessions. So please shoot out. There is only one question I received from Mr. Vishwas Kale. So Ashim, you could reply for that. It is in the chat box. Whether it is installed somewhere, I will read out, or one can read out that question. Can anyone read out?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
The question was, where is it in use? Yeah. So it's not yet in use because this journey is now between this, it's in the last 1/3, early stages of the last 1/3 of the journey. So we have not yet installed any machine, but we are very confident. Because as you can see from the design, from the pictures presented, it's a very professionally designed device. So we are very confident. And Ravi was mentioning that they've just passed the ethics committee stage. So the validation trials will start now.
Yes, the trials will start before sometime beginning of June.
Okay. And when you expect this in the marketplace?
We are looking at something like present plan is maybe October to December. We hope we will have 2 or 3. If the trials go on well, which we hope will, then we should be looking at 1 or 2 numbers by October, December, starting October, December in this year, end of this year.
Okay, so it will be in actual use. Yeah, that's great.
Actual use will be, sir, from beginning of June.
Beginning of June. Okay.
The trials are also actually on patients itself in the ICU.
Yeah. Okay. Any more questions from the members who have joined?
I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead, identify yourself and raise your question.
Vishwas Kale.
Yeah, please go ahead.
You answered my question. It is not in use anywhere yet, but once you are successful fully, how would you compete with other people who are already supplying to hospitals? What is your plus point apart from an Indian product?
Essentially, in these products, there are 2 things. One, of course, it has to be as good as an international brand, because in the case of ventilators, most of the medical devices, the Indian manufacturers are practically zero. Not only ventilators, almost all the products except for very few there and here. The entire medical device, I think, is 100% dependent on imports, essentially from Europe and some from China also. So first, the product has to be very good. So we have benchmarked our product from design stage itself with the best that is used in India, at least, with all the top brands. So all the features are the same. We have tested them for all the same. And then seen what are the challenges. So 2 challenges are in the case of ventilator. One is the cost. And second is the service kind of support that is required for a continuous use. So we do find in many hospitals, the ventilators do work well. There's no doubt the European brands are very good, work well, reliable. But nevertheless, all these equipments do require some kind of good service support and a cost. So there's a cost benefit for us. We are looking at around 30%, 35% less price when compared to the European brands. And today, fortunately, with the exchange rates continuously going up, the gap is increasing. And so we have talked to all the major hospitals, at least a few doctors known to contacts, and what will be expectations. So one is it has to be feature-wise, it has to be as good as anyone. That is why clinical trials starting from June should prove that in the next 3-4 months' time. And the cost and service availability here in India. These are the two basic things that we can bank on.
I have one more question. Is different. You talked about some funds problem. You're getting funds. Is that right?
Funds, so far it has been complete internally. We have not really gone anywhere for funding and things like that right now, because two reasons. One, because it's a group of 23, 24 people. If it's my one company or two people, we could have taken a loan, given some collateral, and then go to a bank and take loans for these kind of 2-3 crore. That looks to be the only option. But being a 23-member group, it is not easy. So right now it's bootstrap everybody putting in. As I told you, right now we've reached around 6 to 8 lakhs per person.
You are not interested in funds, as I understand.
Oh, we are definitely looking for some funds if possible as we go forward.
No.
Maybe yes.
I'm asking you specifically because I'm connected with 3 institutions as an advisor.
Okay.
And where we disperse funds for these kind of startups for doing some innovative products.
Okay.
If you're interested, you can get in touch with us.
All right, sir. Oh yes, definitely. Yes, that will be very yes.
I joined your presentation a bit late. Only basic condition is that you should have a company. I think it is a company already registered,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. If you can approach us later, I'll tell you what to do.
Right, sir.
We are from Pune. We are in Pune.
You're yeah. Okay, understand. Okay.
So I wanted to also make a comment on this question which came up earlier. See, from the uniqueness of this product, like Ravi has said, we are definitely price competitive, I think, going by the numbers I have heard from the team at Keen. And what is even more important is that after the pandemic, you see, I've seen all the international suppliers have almost doubled their prices. So this has no correlation with exchange rates. Actually, exchange rate is on top of it. But it's absolutely remarkable how they have exploited this opportunity. So herein lies the possibility for Indian manufacturers to actually introduce their products. This is the right time when they're trying, the international companies are trying to skim the marketplace. This is a good time, number one. Number two, in the public purchase space, if I don't know how many of you are aware of, there's a platform called GEMS. It's called a government e-marketplace. And the Ministry of Commerce recommends and encourages, including Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, they encourage their organizations to buy from this GEMS marketplace online, where there is a special category credit given to Make in India products. So within the ventilator category, if you are a Make in India product, given the evidence and certification from the relevant authority, you get actually a significant mileage in those public tenders. And here thousands of crores of purchases are made every year in each product category like a ventilator. So I think herein lies an opportunity, Ravi, for you guys. I just pray that you stick to your resolve and continue on this long and winding road of the medical devices marketplace. There are a lot of interesting things that can happen. And I think it's also interesting in the initial stages. I remember you had mentioned that one of the ideas was to come up with a dialysis machine, and then you decided for a ventilator. I think there is a scope for a lot of solutions which can very easily be developed in India. If I'm allowed to make a passing comment on our not so friendly neighbor, there the government has kind of given incentives to people in the space of medical devices, and that's the reason why over extended period of time, that's the reason why 99% of the medical device space is filled with products from that neighboring country. And we must understand that even our government is trying to encourage this. We should, as industry, make best use of it. Of course, there is a lot to be delivered yet, but nevertheless, I think this statement was in place for that question.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, any more questions from the people who are attending?
Yeah, there is a question about the problem of obsolescence and so on. So we have a team of professional engineers working on this. In fact, Purnima has something like 25 years of experience on Texas Instruments. Is that right, Ravi?
Yes.
Yeah. And these are people with their own enterprises delivering absolutely industry grade products to various top end applications, including various defense agencies and so on. So I think this is already factored in, the problem of obsolescence and taking the, continuing with the product despite subcomponent developments in the thing. The next question is, you have mentioned about IC further to this, that is validation, testing, etc. Same for data integrity, maybe encrypting, etc. for data security. So in the field of ventilators in specific, you don't usually put in patient identification other than just cursory name of the patient and the internal hospital ID number. And right now, Ravi, you can add to this. I don't think there is any plan to network the ventilator with any other device at the moment. But if it comes to it, for data collection and so on, I think GD.
Yeah, we have. These are already IoT enabled. From design point of view, not implemented right now. We can do remote monitoring continuously. That is already on the hospital. All these we have remote monitoring. The entire monitoring can be done from our office if the hospital permits. Otherwise, it's on a dongle or something. And then we also have something called a digital twin. There's another feature from obsolescence point of view. A digital twin is where you can see the entire walls and sensors, etc., in a digital way for continuous monitoring. So these are all already designed, partially kept ready. As we go forward, we implement it. From data, of course, we are not allowed to publish the hospital patients' names. But there are, for the clinical protocol also, there have been a lot of documents made which are approved by the ethics committee, where the formats are also approved. So what can be captured, what cannot be captured.
Okay, so let's go for further questions. If there are no questions, we can come to an end. The last question we can take up. Anybody want to ask?
I think Mr. Makaran Vaidya has again shooted the chat, his questions. If you are there, Mr. Vaidya, please introduce yourself and ask directly.
No, it's okay. I just again raise the point of component dependency, because that is a new challenge all are facing, at least in the chip level and
I think it is on component dependency. Then in that case, it is we had problems during the pandemic period getting some of the servo walls, because they are bought from the European brands. Only 2-3 of them make them very well, like Parker and a couple of them. So we had a problem, but these days it is okay. Electronics, chip level is fine, because we do the PCB design, card development, etc. So the only real issue has been on one or two sensors.
Question is, how much is the import content in the ventilator, percentage wise?
Sir, right now, percentage wise, when we talk about making 2 and 3 ventilators, and if you are able to make in batches of 10, it varies big time. Right now, when you make in 2 and 3, the import content is approximately around 32 to 35% right now.
Okay.
But if you are able to make it in bigger batches, it comes to around 20-22.
Okay, so you have plans of making any of the critical components in country?
Only there are around 6 components. In that, one of the valve is the main thing which we are going to make. Already work has started, which will be made here. 2-3 servo valves and 2 sensors. At the moment, till we make any small numbers of 30, 40, we will be importing. We are able to hit bigger numbers, we can look at it then. But right now, except for the other things are made in the country.
Okay.
I would like to share here one good thing that being a part of Tech Forum membership, there are a couple of engineers and industries are available you for to think starting indigenous production for your required new things which are imported right now. There are a couple of successful activities has been done by our members. Since this today's day is not to discuss on this, we will discuss and introduce those members to you. You can plan out for your future 100% Indian manufacturing process.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, as well, I would like to inform another thing that price stability is a major problem in India for medical devices and medical services. Various industries, including finance and insurance and other manufacturing industries, also suffering various problems on this. So at the Tech Forum, we have a member who working on this as a guiding to Indian government for policy matter also. In future, I will share your information with them as well as their information with you. So you can be contact with them, collaborate and take the topic further.
Okay, thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Anil. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Anil. Thank you. And yes, Tech Forum can take the initiative for this kind of a work. So thank you very much, Ravi. I must thank you for your efforts and the key team, because this is really a Herculean task, and making it, validating it is a very expensive affair. But as a passion, you have taken up this project, and I'm sure passion only can make the things successful. Thanks a lot for